Aho Mitakiyasin. Namaste, all my relations. Oh, I really, really liked it when it was that simple. Now I feel I need to honor all of my DNA lineage, which makes it Aho Mitakiyasin. Namaste, Sarvi Mirairustitar. So, Osio, all my relatives. The hummingbird is spinning again. And yes, I feel this urge to hit the button and share and speak out loud. We've had this ceremony around this tortoise. For me, it's been going on a while now. Connecting with the turtles there in Florida. When I picked up I was gifted that meteor, that unbreakable heart meteorite on that mound there in St. Petersburg. I remember the feeling, that total honor of picking up that meteorite, going, oh my God, I found you. I didn't even know I was looking for it, but that's what came through. I remember crying and just going, wow. You know, because I had been to that mound numerous times. And it's not a big mound, it's a small mound. A very simple mound, a very powerful mound. In my humble opinion. And I worked with it, and made it to Ohio. I'm in Ohio, walking along the river. I was doing a meditation, walk rambling. I shared it. And I've been wanting to share it, but just wasn't sure how to share it. And every time I would begin to share it, something would kind of, nope, not yet, nope, not yet, nope, not yet. And nobody watches my meditation rambles, so I felt pretty safe just going ahead and uploading it so that I knew it was saved somewhere. Because it's not every day in the wild where you're not on like some kind of a little tour group thing, you know, going to see the loggerback sea turtles, you know, coming into shore to lay their eggs. You know, it's not like it's a spectacle or being put on as a show, you know, that kind of a thing. But you're just walking along, thinking about meditating upon truth. And a turtle lays an egg in front of you on camera. And I'm going, oh, she just laid an egg. Wow. Now, I'm doing my best to recall there was a lot going on around the new earth, the Aquarian age, getting ready to give birth, and then we will be in our infancy. And I'm like, whoa. And it was related around the 8th fire and getting ready to move into the Aquarian age, because there's been a lot of when does the Aquarian age actually begin? Well, there was the portal opening and you know, the whole 9 yards. So there's a lot of speculation around that. And one thing I know about spirit, at least I think I know, is, you know, it's timeless. Timeless. Spaceless. We jump timelines. It was kind of like, really, what is that shit all about, right? Till it happened. Till I got to witness it in this physical being right here, right now, you know, where there's that self-awareness. Of course, then don't get me started about self-awareness in the other animals. We humans think we're so unique. Well, we are unique in many different characteristics, in many different ways. That's obvious. You take a step out into the world, it's made quite obvious. However, we have no clue what the other animals go through, think about, see, understand, remember. Anyway, where was I? Hop me back onto the other timeline of sharing. Tortoise. So there was that witnessing of laying that tortoise egg. I was getting ready to go onto the peace and dignity. See, was it before or after? Oh, we were just there. That was the period, the dissolvement of the different divine masculine energies going through the, you know, the general mass collective average of the masculine in these different time periods. And the same is true with the feminine, which we are working through currently. So this was a period of the masculine. And I was in Ohio working with a couple of those masculine energies and a couple of different feminine energies. In that representation of the suppression and, you know, what the role of the divine feminine is and how the voice has been suppressed and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to go into all of that right here, right now. But basically, it's this, okay, oh my gosh, the egg has been laid. Wow, how cool is that, right? The new earth, the seed has been planted. The new earth, the seed has been planted. The egg has been born. And then she, you know, you cover it up. And spirit takes care of the rest. And with the turtle, there's not much to do. Turtle egg, you don't even water it, really. It's not like you're planting a flower seed or an acorn seed. It's a turtle egg. And it was just one new earth. Fast forward. The journey to grandfather, brother. And during this period of time in the collective, there was a lot around the father sky energy, the masculine energy, the the sun. We were working around a lot of those honoring the sun, honoring the light. It's the winter solstice period, through the wintertime, you're honoring the light, you're honoring the sun, you're honoring that heat. You're in the cold. It's the dark time. And you're listening to your elders. Tony was an amazing elder. We listened to him every morning, singing his song and sharing his short, sweet, yet powerful wisdom. Unlike many elders that go, there's a lot of us elders. I wouldn't even call myself an elder at this point, though I accept that I am a grandmother, and I've witnessed my growth into this grandmother role, and yet at the same time I'm listening to other grandmothers and I'm going, really? You're putting me in that league? I don't think so. I don't know. But I do have an elder that lives inside of me, and she's awakening. And like I said, I'm growing into my grandmotherhood. It's kind of like you're given a name and then you grow into it. And then you really realize and understand and learn what it really means. So I'm visiting this elder, and unlike many elders that I know, when he would share, it was short, sweet, to the point, powerful. Sometimes it'd stun you, sometimes it'd sting you, sometimes it'd hug you, and sometimes it would be like a tickle bee and make you laugh. But again, short, sweet, powerful. And then it's, well, let's sing. Let's play some music. Play some music. Let's sing. And we would spend sometimes what would feel like 20 minutes, and it'd be like 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes, well, there was once or twice where it was turned out to be a couple of where I felt it was like 20 minutes, or it felt like it was a couple of hours and it was only the 20 minutes, but it was kind of like he got started and I'm like, oh man, I haven't gone to the bathroom yet, so I couldn't get off the ground. It was kind of like one of those birds that just couldn't get off the ground. Anyway, because I needed to relieve myself. And then he would get he got a laugh out of that. And, all right, well, I'll go on, and you join me when you get back. Thank you, brother. Well, it was after visiting him, I got the tortoise. So the tortoise shell showed up on this beach. And I'm like, what are you doing here? I remember going, what are you doing here? You're not a sea turtle. Because we were at a lake. And how did you get upside down? As soon as I picked him up, Rashidi led me that direction. I was headed to the water. I wanted to put my feet in the water. Rashidi's like, no, we're going over this way. I'm like, okay. And he didn't bother sniffing the tortoise. But he led me right to it. As soon as I picked her up, she was like almost mummified. She was basically mummified. Arms, legs, tail, head, and then, like I said, mummified in the sun, totally dried out. So I picked her up, flipped her over, I'm like, oh, you poor thing. And she's like, oh, finally back on my belly. Like, what is and that some kids were playing with her and left her that way. course, the parents didn't do anything to educate the children or help the turtle. Or maybe they didn't understand. Whatever the case may be. And so I offered tobacco and prayed with this tortoise, and it was take me with you, and I shared a whole thing, and I'd be happy to share that with you in what took place after that, and the travels, and she gets flown to me here when I finally land here in Yuma, and I get my place, and gifted this apartment for an entire year. So grateful, so grateful. I would have never dreamed of this, getting here and doing this, and I mean, I'd never seen this one coming. I knew I was going to be well taken care of. I knew that there was going to be something here for me. I just, this was beyond my... Anyway, so Tortoise comes out, and it's time on Earth Day. So this is so Tony. Tony was so totally into the, number one, the natives and the reclamation. Number two, bringing community together, especially around music. And it was this week of the humming and the music that we actually really shared about the tortoise, that the tortoise actually made it into the ground and is now resting and transmuting and radiating, grounding this oneness energy. And that was another beautiful piece, was it was symbols from a majority of us, all our Relations Fire team. I sincerely believe that this ceremony is either going to be very close to the end of the All Our Relations Fire ceremony, where it's just going to begin, it's just going to fade off into the ethers, or, because that's what it looks like, it could very well happen. And the powers that resist, or these spiritual, I call them spiritual, they're like wolves in sheep clothing. Well, they enter the spiritual world too, and this has been very awakening for me, because it's not something that I never go off into the other side, so to speak, very often. I mean, I'm aware, but yet it's like it's all oneness, and that dark energy, that dark stuff is inside of me. Trust me, I have a Hitler inside of me. And this is where I was headed with this. There's a Hitler inside of me, especially around men. I mean, you take a long, long look of my female ancestral matriarchal lineage. I got a lot of pissed off ancestral women. Their beliefs, that is, energy that was never, that kind of like, ooh, you know, around this whole patriarchy, colonialism, suppression, you know, weak male feeling threatened bullshit. You know, I mean, I have been taking that back to me. Wow, I would really love to know that very first moment where we're just going to use the Adam and Eve, where Adam thought it was okay to overstep his boundary with Eve. Not necessarily even in a sexual way. Of course, we all know where that has led. But that first moment where the masculine said, I ain't doing this, or whatever it may be, because in my understanding from my elders that I have spoken with and got the privilege to listen to, is that the feminine was extremely respectful of the men. You know, they don't treat them any differently. All of them have their place and what they do, and they allow everybody to have their own spirituality in alignment with the universal principles, which the original instructions. So that first moment, I think it was Adam that decided, I'm gonna take a bite of this apple. And I think that's when the shit started hitting the fan, so to speak. Anyway, so it's this reclamation with the masculine and this honoring of where the masculine has brought us. All the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, all that we've gotten to experience. And this is true whether it is you are a woman or a man, whether you identify feminine or masculine, or where, because we all have both sides inside of ourselves. So we honor the mother and we honor the father. And so I'm real close in my completely healing. Well, I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna claim it. The healing. The healing. The healing of this lineage. The last masculine for myself, because all of the work is happening right here, right now, inside of me. And it has had me looking at all of my different feminine pieces as well. We're all working it right now. But for me, it's the 4 different colors, 5 different colors of women inside of me. And the different types of masculine energy, masculine in me, the different types of masculine in me. And I will say the one I had the biggest and hardest, most difficult time with, many of them are pretty straightforward, you know. They got that sexual urge, you look pretty, gotta have ya. You got the male mentality when they're all in a group and they got a single woman, and there's that go, 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 you know, the gang rape type of thing. Okay. This, you don't know how to start a fire, you're a woman. Well, do you know who invented fire? Get over yourself. So, you know, hey, don't tell me what I can and cannot do and who I am and am not. I mean, I became a pretty damn good firekeeper and firewalk facilitator in the whole 9 yards, and I spent years not even believing that I knew how to start a fire. Where you can't speak unless you're spoken to. You're not, go through me. You know, this whole, the woman doesn't have a voice. you hand all your money over to me, I'm paying the bills, and I'll give you an allowance. You know, there's all the different varieties. I've gotten to experience quite a few. And so this latest one, I knew the moment there was that connection, I'm just gonna share it out. Spirit share, and I'm listening to another sister who's going, you know, when someone says, Spirit shared with me, well, you know, I did my whole share yesterday about this, you know, when you're flipping from out here to in here, and God and I are one. Okay, so I heard myself share. It's okay. Go with it. Okay. Because when I got divorced, I was like, nope, that's it. That's it. I'm marrying Creator. I'm marrying myself. And so I listened to myself and I went with it. An amazing journey, a lot of magical shit. The man had vision that shared with me sometimes what I was seeing, feeling, thinking, and understanding, but I didn't have words for it. Don't know all of the context and all of this, and like there was still a fog around me. And I'm in this like infancy learning stage, so to speak. So I went with it. I got tricked numerous times. I got tricked numerous times. I got suppressed. My voice suppressed again and again and again. At the same time, though, the two of us were growing and learning, and I remember him sharing once, you create your own vortex, and I need to be close to that vortex. I had forgotten that statement, because when I heard it, I was like, I create my own vortex. I didn't listen to the other side of it because I don't know, there's no reason to try to go into the reasoning as to why. I understand. And so that's what I heard at that time. Now, every time there's been a detachment where it's like, that's it, get the fuck out. Or, I've got to let you go. It's like there was this entity attached to him, right? And when he would get clear of that, it was like, oh, I need to let her go so she can do what she needs to do, because there is that love. There is that love. And boy, things would just go, oh. Well, this last time, I got away long enough to realize and got really, crystal clear with my adopted mom and the ancestors at the lake. water, the river. It's like, wow. This is what I need to do, and I need to do it for me, or this is going to be the end of me. And the detachments have taken place. And so there was the electric love, that, when you, that zinger, I've gotten to experience that. And that was an incredible, wonderful period of time. I learned a lot. Very, very narcissistic and leechy. Narcissistic and leechy. Narcissistic and leechy. Catching the pattern. I didn't see it in the spiritual world. I just didn't want to believe that. The inside of me, my heart was like, he saved my ass numerous times. He was really, really doing his best, the growth and but yet not. I don't know. And I'm at this point where I feel like I don't need to know, except that now I can see this, number one, the pattern. Number two, the wolf in sheep's clothing in the spiritual world. I mean, I had a beautiful grandmother elder who actually shot some spirit arrows at me. And they wounded me for a little while. I pulled them out. I healed them. And we always want to send arrows back, but it's like, no. That's something that I can see the thought come through, but I'm like, nope, you just go right on by. Because I've been that person before. And so I understand what this person is going through. And I choose to send them love. Doesn't mean I have to stick around. Doesn't mean I have to do any of that. But I can send love and light. So back to the tortoise. So there are all these different masculines. It happens both way in the spiritual world. And a sister shared it too, where she was watching a very beloved elder who hooked up with another soul, another spiritual person. They're both in the spiritual realm. And one of them had an agenda. One of them is more of a leech, an energy sucker, and bringing, putting on those little suction cups and sucking them in, leeching and working, and then what they do becomes, things start getting really skewed and frayed, and so forth, where if there is the I am a completely sovereign being and you're a completely sovereign being, you are doing your thing, I am doing my thing, and you keep those kinds of lines, yes, there may be things that you come together and do, but it's a different creation than what the two of you are doing in a sovereign being. Do you see this? Mother, father, child. So Father keeps doing what he's doing, and he is completely sovereign. He can assist, but he's completely sovereign. Mother is doing her thing, completely sovereign, doing her thing. She doesn't, his thing is his thing. And yet, then when they come together, they create something completely different. We would call this baby. And this that they create together is separate from the two of them, where they're still doing their own thing. But this baby becomes something greater than the two of them, either one of them alone. It's kind of like the pipe bundle. This energy is wonderful and powerful. This energy is wonderful and powerful. But when you bring the two together in a very good and balanced way, where they don't overtake each other, then you have this beautiful being that can answer prayers. Answered prayers. Did you catch that one? Yes. So, this answered prayer of this tortoise, we get the symbols from the family, and everybody has their symbol, and I practiced and practiced and practiced drawing many of them, and it's like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work on a tortoise. It took several of us, I was thinking paints, no, that's not going to work. Let's do this, no, that's not going to work. And it was brought up Sharpies. I went and got Sharpies, and at that time it was like the last few dollars I had, but I got the Sharpies because I heard it needs to be done this weekend. And so, I've got all of the symbols, and I'm invoking the music and all of this, and calling in all of the directions, and I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, well, here we go. And that energy takes over. The energy just came through me through each and every one of the symbols, and they went on absolutely perfectly and beautifully. Actually, there was a couple of them I was like, and it's like, whoa, because when I was practicing them, it was like I wasn't getting them right. They came out, I was just like, whoa. And so then, so all the energy's coming, then I had to stop and rest. It was over 2 days. It was over a 2-day period. Boom. All these little tiny hematite beads getting glued on there. Just so. Da. That vortex closed. This was over. It was one of the planetary eclipse alignments. Anyway, that the synchronicity just it didn't it blew me away. And then sharing it with the family, they were like, whoa, and I'm like, yeah, it's surprised the fuck out of me too. So the one sister was like, this isn't happening. She had to process through some of her stuff. That was we all had to do some processing, but it brought about some amazing conversations and some beautiful understandings and clarity and healing. And then Judith comes and picks up the shell, and there was some beautiful healings that took place there, and she makes her transition. So this tortoise goes from Fort Supply Lake to Ohio, basically the Mounds area, Serpent Mound, Alligator Mound, where the two meridians come together in Brant, Ohio, and two major meridian lines, and then comes to Yuma, Arizona, and then crossing by land all the way to Asheville to go to the Peace Chamber. And then the ceremony there, and witnessing Amani and the young couple, and just the beautiful healing. And there was something around earthworks and the 13 and the 18 and the planetary alignment, and I don't know, but what I do know is it is greater than each and every one of us, and it's actually even greater than just our little circle, or the eighth fire, or all of these ceremonies are absolutely perfect and beautiful, and yet on a greater expansive level, it's like, wow, I don't know. It blows me away, and it makes me feel even smaller than an ant. And yet, so privileged and honored and blessed. It makes me love myself and my family, especially my soul family, so much more. Because as my mom would say, we just doodly do what we muddly must. And 99.99% of the time, we're just doing what's right before us. And we never know how beautiful it is. How special it is. For some folks, for our other family, and for the bigger picture. It's that reminder that we are all unimportantly important. The most humblest of all, my little Rashidi, that tortoise, that snake. don't know if I've healed any kind of ancestral line or anything like that. But what I do know I have freed myself. I hope. And therein lies the joke, right? Anyway, I feel freer. And I feel as if I'm really beginning to come back into my own again. We go around that spiral one more time. We go around that spiral one more time. It feels so much more different. This time, this Monday morning, I went to the courthouse. This morning, I made it to the post office. And I look forward to getting that little green card back. What I do know, this is what I do know. I do know I have done for myself what I have heard in stories. I got to witness with my biological mother. I got to witness with my grandmother. I got to hear and witness. Hear the witnessing through a story of my grandmother, my great-grandmother. So I have done knowingly or unknowingly, definitely knowingly, this last set. Last time it was definitely a life-saving thing. Because I had tried to commit suicide 3 times. So I have done for my family lineage, my matriarchal lineage, at least, and those few, and I can only imagine you take it all the way back. I've done it in journeys, all going all the way back anyway, but in the physical, here and now, what many of them only prayed about doing. And I am knowing that my ancestors are not going to allow me to be tricked or suppressed again. And I'm knowing and praying because we are connected with Mother Earth. We are a part of Mother Earth. We are made of Mother Earth. She's gonna do her shake, rattle, and roll. Get rid of all the fleas. Kill off the cancer. And may she never allow the ancestors to let this happen with her again. It's what we do to ourselves. We do to Mother Earth. And what we do to Mother Earth, we do to ourselves. Hey, hey.